We spent a lot of time in 2017 building our practices, building our platforms, and looking at the data that we need to collect, the data that's going to be important to us as a collaborative moving forward. The data is going to be important for all of our practices, each both collectively and individually, for areas of practice improvement and quality, in building stronger practice models, and in delivering a better practice product for our patients and for the hospital systems and other facilities that we provide care for.
Since coming together in 2009, the Quality Committee has put forward a number of benchmarks. There are things identified as callback rates, turnaround times, a list of critical tests, and even communication of critical results. With the creation of the Clinical Quality Council, we want to move from benchmarks to standards. And the importance of that is to establish standards that mean something by providing a higher degree of value to our patients and to our hospital systems.
Really engaging our physician members and improving performance is critical for the success of the Strategic Radiology Patient Safety Organization. We really feel like the Clinical Advisory Council can give us feedback on what are the top priority areas we should be focused on, what kind of projects should we be engaged with, and then also go back out into their workforces and engage their radiologists in the efforts we're trying to take in improving quality and care. One of the initiatives that the radiologists and the practices across SR are really interested in is developing a national peer review system. And we believe that if we develop this appropriately and engage our radiologists in the development, we will really spearhead a peer review system or peer improvement system that focuses on education, one of our core values, and move us closer towards a blame-free approach. It really represents our values of education and engagement of our physicians, all for the improvement of care and service to our patients.
At Strategic Radiology, we have a plan to begin to share information across our member sites so that we can be greater than the sum of all our individual parts. The way that we're going to get that interoperability allows each SR member site to connect to each other so that we build a foundation that as new use cases come up, whether it's for teleradiology, whether it's for daytime subspecialty reading, we'll be able to provide that in the future. For example, if one of our sites has extra exams in the musculoskeletal section and they don't have enough to hire a new person, but they need those to be read, they'll be able to go to something we call the Strategic Radiology Marketplace and say that they're open for business, they need some help. And another SR site will be able to start reading those exams for them.
We have two exciting new opportunities, one in revenue cycle and one in compliance. Revenue cycle is going to bring tremendous value to our member groups and help them achieve revenue cycle at an enterprise-wide level as opposed to each individual local level. And our compliance resources will be available to do the same thing. Last year, we achieved a milestone when we hit 100% involvement in our accounts receivable data warehouse. This is significant because that will be the platform that drives forward our revenue cycle analysis. And we've already seen variability across our member groups that represents multi-million dollar savings opportunities. We're very excited to bring forth our compliance services to our member groups. John Outlaw, our compliance officer, will be conducting baseline assessments of each radiology group and then offering services and suggestions and consultations for improvement and enhancement that will allow all of our groups to operate in a compliant fashion.
We are strong, independent, distinct radiology groups, and having everyone participate in the data aggregation as well as the clinical repository of data will only increase the benefit to strategic radiology members and increase the ability to demonstrate quality, drive best practices into strategic radiology member practices. So one example is our revenue cycle database. So again, distinct practices with different billing processes have come together to create a standardized file of elements within the revenue cycle database that are apples to apples, so that when we aggregate this data, we are truly comparing like data elements and illustrating best practices for us to use in our private practices. SR members, through their revenue cycle database and their willingness to standardize that file format, will now benefit us as we now move into the clinical repository. And we could then drive that same level of standardization in the clinical database for both data mining of quality and also standardized reporting, artificial intelligence, and provide that type of clinical information back to our private practices.
We need to be able to disrupt ourselves. We need to embrace change and make those changes that are going to be critical for us to continue to be able to practice radiology in an independent fashion, but collaboratively together, but also to be sure that we keep our patients first and we provide the highest level of value and care to those that we serve, and keeping our profession viable and vital. We need to build teams, we need to innovate solutions and tools that will help protect the interests of our patients.